Hello, Eurovision friends. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, Eurovision Histories, for my final prediction on who will win Eurovision 2025. I've had a thought about it, and now I think I can make a prediction. I am just a dude with a microphone. I'm not an expert. I'm just a Eurovision fan sharing my thoughts. So don't take it too seriously, though I think there are a few countries that have long shots or that are dark horses that might do it, where there is a pathway. And then there are four who I think are really possible winners, and especially two, I think, that will be fighting for the trophy tonight. So we'll talk about that, and I'll tell you my thoughts on who will do well and who might be a winner. Before doing that, I wanted to show you this, because we have two different votes in Eurovision. We have the jury and the televote. The jury is more looking for songs in English. Sometimes they prefer ballads. They don't really love traditional elements, and they are also a compromise factory, so to speak, because they are 5 people in each country. And if all 5 people agree on a song, that song will get a lot of points from the jury. If 2 or 3 of them really don't like a song, they can rank it very low. And even though if the other 2 really like it, that song will still not get a lot of points from the jury in that country. So if a song is very divisive, the jury might not go for it as much as other songs. And then you have the televote, where kind of the opposite is true. Because the 2 people in the jury, if they are televoters, they will vote for the song maybe 20 times, and then that song will get a lot of votes. And if the rest of the population doesn't like it at all, then it doesn't matter. So in the televote, you can vote only for an entry, and being divisive is quite good. And in the jury, you can also vote against an entry. If jury members really don't like that song, they can vote it down a bit. There are different pathways to win. Either you are the Netherlands in 2019, and you get enough jury and televote points to win overall without winning either of these 2 votes. And you can see the Netherlands have almost 500 points, and that is an important pathway here. You need more than 500 points, I think, also this year to win Eurovision overall, so that will be interesting. Then you have the pathway of winning the televote so commandingly as Italy and Ukraine did in 2021 and 2022, that a bit of a lower jury vote, they still came 4th, I think, in the jury, is not that important. And you had the other pathway in the last 2 years, where Sweden and Switzerland got a huge jury vote and a big margin. Sweden came 2nd in the televote and Switzerland 4th, and they still managed to win it overall because of the margin in the jury. So that is the pathways we have. Let's get talking about the long shots, first of all, very quickly, because I think the shot is really long. First, I have Claude and C'est la vie. You can see the different categories I looked at also to kind of see whether the song has a good chance. I look at the odds. If you're top 5 in the odds, you get a thumbs up. If you're 6th to 10th in the odds, you get one of these neutral smileys. And if you get a thumbs down, that means you're outside of the top 10. And this is at the moment of recording, obviously. I looked at the charts as well, which songs are streaming in certain countries. I also got a chance to see the jury show, and I included that here. I'm looking at the competition, how many ballads are in the final, how many up-tempo pop songs are in the final, and also how much media attention is an entry getting. And for Claude, the odds still see him in the 5th most likely to win, and I think he does have a chance to win as a compromise winner like Duncan Lawrence, so getting points from the jury and the televote. I don't think he will win either of those. On the charts, it's doing okay, but it's not charting as highly as some other entries. The jury show was good, I thought. The vocal performance was a bit shaky in some parts, so that could have cost a few points. The competition is quite fierce. There are songs that are more televote friendly, other songs are more jury friendly. So this might be the compromise in the end, but I do think he has quite a bit of competition, obviously. And then media attention, I've seen a few articles about his life story, being a refugee from Congo, but not all that much compared to some of the others, which is why it's a long shot. Germ and Škoda Elektronike, I mostly include this in the long shots because of the competition aspect. We don't have many entries this year with a distinct traditional touch, and this does. And it's also last in the running order. I included that in the competition as well. So it will be memorable for a lot of televoters. This might do very well in the televote. I put a thumbs down for the charts, but actually they are charting in a few countries, which for a song in Albanian, a dialect actually, is not a bad thing. Media attention, not too much, unfortunately for them. The Pathway, I think, is getting a very big televote, surprisingly, kind of, and then a okay jury vote. I don't think the juries will go for this too much because they usually prefer English standard pop songs or ballads in French, Italian, English. So yeah, that's why Albania is a long shot. I thought this might be one of the contenders, but it still has a shot, I think, if there is a moment and Europe really feels this. It's very intimately staged. In the odds, it's in the lower top 10 at the moment. It's not really charting that much in a lot of countries. The jury Joe performance was very, very good, I thought. The camera work that didn't work in the semifinal worked. The vocals were okay. Sometimes I do listen to the song a lot, but sometimes they weren't quite like the studio version, but it's a live performance. This does have competition from a French ballad coming after it, France specifically. Italy might also take votes away from this. And then if you like a cinematic staging, there is also Austria. And for media attention, this has not gotten a lot of media attention as far as I could see. From my point of view. By the way, if you have different information about media attention, do let me know in the comments. Then Yuval Rafael, New Day Will Rise for Israel. In the odds, this has decreased a bit, currently 7th in the odds, so lower top 10. In the charts, it's doing well on iTunes, but not that well on Spotify and Apple Music. That's why it's a neutral smiley. She did well in the jury show, very good vocal performance. Everything worked, no wardrobe malfunction like in the semi. So that's a thumbs up. The competition could be a problem because Israel is 4th, I think, very early on in the running order. It's the first ballot, and all the ballots after it will be compared to it, maybe. And so some people might prefer the Greek ballot or the French ballot, and then it might lose out a bit. Also, being so early on in the running order is not that helpful. There is a lot of media attention about this, which could help that people have this in their mind when voting. For the jury televote split, I think the same thing as last year might happen. This might be a fallacy, but I think it might happen. I think this might get not that many jury points, maybe 50, 60, 70, and then get a huge televote, maybe even win the televote. So if you put these two together, getting above 500 points gets tricky. It's still possible. So we shall see what happens. Now let's get to the possible contenders. I have 2 possible contenders and 2 my real contenders, so to speak, who I think will fight for the trophy, as I said. The first possible contender would be Erika Wigman with Ich komme for Finland, mostly because of what I saw in the semifinals, but also in the jury show. She performed incredibly well. She has incredible stage presence. We saw that in the semifinal, but she also did as well and even better, I think, in the jury show. The vocals were very, very good, which is important in a jury show. And so I think this could get quite a few jury points. The song itself is a pretty good composition when it comes to instrumentation and also the structure and everything else. So the jury should be able to appreciate this. This has to win the televote though, and when it comes to competition, there is also Sweden, there is Malta, possibly also later on in the running order with a similar theme for the song, which might hurt Finland a bit. And then there are other countries like Albania, Israel, Ukraine, who could get a big televote. And so not that many televote points might be left. It is a possibility that this wins the televote, and then the jury points might be enough, which is why I have it in the possible contenders. Then I have JJ and Wasted Love for Austria. This might surprise a few people because he is 2nd in the odds. I'll just refresh. Yes, still second in the odds, obviously with a 20% winning chance. So he gets a thumbs up for that. He's doing quite well in the charts for a song that doesn't really have a standard genre for the charts in general. So that's a good sign. The jury show was very, very good. Perfect vocals. He added some things to the vocal that made it stand out even more. So he might win the jury vote in the end. The competition, I gave a thumbs up because I don't really know how to categorize this song. It's not really a ballad. It's not really an uptempo song. It really stands out for the genre that it's in, or the two genres, or the mix, the fusion, and also because of the great, great staging, which also makes it stand out, but which is also risky in some ways. And media attention not that big. At the moment, I haven't seen any articles about this song in particular. The reason why I don't have it in the two that I think are fighting for the win is because of how divisive I think this might be. I've seen that a lot of people love this, and some people don't like it or don't get it or don't understand the staging or the song or the high voice. And for the juries especially, and people are predicting this to win the jury, I think that is unlikely at this point. Again, only my opinion. I'm only a dude with a microphone. Don't listen to me too much. But I think the potential for two jury members, or even just one jury member, not liking something, either the staging or the song or the vocals, even though the vocals are perfect, so probably not that, and ranking it a bit lower, is higher than with the two other songs we are going to see. And I'm also not so sure about Austria's power in the televote, because we have seen in the past that Austria struggles a bit. Not when Conchita was the representative, obviously, but this is also very early on in the running order, by the way, which is a big detriment to the two that are coming up. I still think this has a winning chance. It has a quite good winning chance, actually. I just think that the divisiveness is the problem for this. And so it might not do as well in the jury as people think. And I think it might do better in the televote, actually, because of the divisiveness, though the Austria factor, not having that many neighbors supporting it, maybe could be an issue in the end. Let's get to the contenders. And I actually made a pro-contra list because I could not decide for the life of me which of these two countries would actually win. In the end, probably it's neither of them, and this whole video has no point. But here we go. The first one, I would say, is Luan and Maman for France. This is going up in the odds. It is at 13% winning chance at the moment, so in third place. So it has momentum. That is the first reason. It's not doing well on the charts. That's a bit of a contra because not a lot of people are streaming this. It was performed in the second semifinal. That might be one of the reasons, but it doesn't seem to really get that many streams. And I also, this is anecdotal, but I have a lot of people telling me that the song is not good enough for them. The Maman is repeated too much. I think personally it's a beautiful song with a lot of emotion as well. So we shall see. That's the thing about predictions. We don't know what will happen. The jury show was amazing. It was full of emotion. The vocals were great. The whole sand thing worked completely well. The staging that France has. So that is a big, big plus for France. So the potential that something might go wrong tonight when all of Europe is watching is there. Some sand getting in her mouth. She has to cough during the performance. That still means that she could win the jury vote and then not get a great televote if that happens. I hope it doesn't. I'm sure it doesn't because she's a big professional. But yeah, and I think that this is the more likely jury winner than Austria, actually, because this song is not as divisive and the staging isn't either. It is a pretty standard ballad, which is one of the reasons many people criticize it and don't like it as much. But the juries, I think, will like that. They have traditionally voted for ballads in French and Italian before, so that could be a plus. And when you look for a compromise, I think this song is more of a compromise than Austria is, in my opinion, and also Finland in a way. So I think this could win the jury vote, and then it really depends on the televote how well this does, though I think it creates an emotional moment. She interacts with the camera. One big pro for this is actually Luan herself, who is a complete professional. She's an actress as well. So there are moments here that really get you. And I think this could work with the televote, because also this is very late in the running order, right after Sweden. And if you look at the running order, you have no other ballad in the last 6 songs. The other ballad that is before it is Portugal. But I think this is more of the standard ballad that people will gravitate towards probably. So that will help it amazingly as well with the televote. And then media attention might be a problem because this doesn't get mentioned as much as the entry I am going to talk about now. So the pathway for Luana, I think, is win the jury vote, sort of Luan Nemo-like, and then do well enough in the televote to beat the televote winner, which might be Kai Barabarabastu and Sweden. The odds say that this is a sure winner, almost 41% winning chance, which is quite good. But Baby Lasagna also had that last year and he didn't win in the end. So the odds are not always right. On the charts, this is doing incredibly well, charting in most countries along with Tommy Cash from Estonia. But this is the jury friendlier song out of these two. So one of these two will win the televote. And then the juries will go more for Sweden, I think, because their vocals are better. The song is kind of a schlagery structure, so people will like that, I think. And yeah, I think the juries cannot ignore this completely. Also, the fact that it's first in the odds will influence the juries a little bit, have influence, because that already happened. The jury show was very good, vocally good. Nothing went wrong, so that's a thumbs up. The competition here, the thing is, Tommy Cash might take televote points away. Israel might take televote points away. Ukraine, Albania, Malta, Finland. I keep almost forgetting Finland. Finland might take a lot of televote points away as well. And then it might be so spread out that the televote is not big enough, the margin is not big enough to win against the jury winner. This has a lot of media attention, though, lots of reports about the sauna guys from Sweden, and also this underdog story from coming from last in the odds to win the Swedish national final to now being the favorite at Eurovision, I think might help. I think their postcard is really good too. You really get the fun energy that they have from the postcard already before the song has even started. So that's a big plus. So I've talked a lot. This pathway for this is to win the televote with a good margin and then do well in the juries, maybe third or fourth, to win overall. So I think it is Sweden against France. And France has another contra argument, unfortunately, which is that there's an ad break right before it. And in some countries, there will be ads. In other countries, they will show Michelle Hunziker doing something. I can't remember. But I don't think it's attention grabbing enough to keep you in your seat and not go somewhere else. And then you might miss a part of the French performance, which will not happen for Sweden. So I think that the televote will be rather divided. This will win the televote, Sweden will, I think, but not with a margin like Kerrie or Baby Lasagna, even though Baby Lasagna didn't have that big of a margin and he didn't win in the end. And France will not win the juries with as big a margin as Loreen and Nemo did. So I think it comes down to the wire in a way. But I think in the end, the fact that we only have like 6 ballots in this final, and France is the last one, and there are not a lot of ballots in the last part, and because Kerrie and Baby Lasagna came second the last 2 years, I am predicting France to win Eurovision 2025 overall. You can come back on Sunday or Saturday evening, but it's probably going to be Sunday once we know the result, and tell me how wrong I was. But this is my final prediction. I think La France will win Eurovision with Luan. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the other side, so to speak. Have a lot of fun watching tonight. It is going to be a very exciting voting, I think, because it is such an open year. Thank you so much for watching. See you and bye-bye.